Namaste friends, this is Raj. Welcome to my YouTube channel Agricultural Statistics. In this video, we will be seeing the first principle, that is replication of the three principles of the designs of experiment. So let's get started. So let's say that you are a judge and you need to decide which candidate should be sent to the Olympics to represent India. So both these candidates are allowed to fire one shot. Our first candidate is Abhinav Bindra ji, and the second candidate is famous YouTuber Kerry Minati. Suppose Abhinav Bindra ji scores 9 and Kerry Minati scores 9.6. In that case, what would be your stand? This is the first question, whether to send Kerry Minati on the basis of this one round result, and second is this criteria sufficient in order to reach the conclusion? So these two things, if you are able to answer, then you will realize what is the need of replication. So we can't just deny Kerry Minati just because he is a YouTuber and not a professional shooter. What we can do, we can't reject his candidacy on this criteria. So there are chances that Kerry got this 9.6 by chance and not by the shooting skills. Okay, we want that candidate which has good shooting skills, okay, not good luck or good chance, because chance does not favor every time. So what we can do, so we will allow this candidate 5 to 6 rounds instead of one round. Okay, and if in this case also after giving 5 to 6 rounds we calculate the average and then Kerry scored better, well, which he has the less chances, but if he did so, then he must be sent to Olympics in order to represent the India in the shooting. So hope you get the idea. By replication we try to see that the difference between the candidate is due to these shooting skills instead of chance. Okay, that in research also, if we take only one observation, there are chances that the results might get affected more by the external factors that we don't take into consideration in the study instead of our treatments. Also, what happens when we take one replication, the degree of freedom, that is r minus 1, this will become 0 and we will not be able to calculate things like mean square, because mean square is sum of square divided by degrees of freedom. So we can't calculate mean square for replication if we take this one observation. Now let's see the definition. Replication, so it is the repeated application of the treatments under investigation or under experiment, under the study. So this is the definition of the replication, and sometimes we use the word repetition instead of replication. So this is done in the case of the CRD design, that is completely randomized design, where the experimental material is homogeneous. So in this case we use the word repetition instead of replication, but in designs like RBD we use the word replication. There are basically two functions of the replication in context of the research. First one is to provide the estimate of error. Second one is to reduce the experimental error. We will see both the cases and both the uses of the replication. So let's see the first one. So suppose we are taking experiment on the onion. Okay, in onion we have three hormones. Okay, and suppose there is a hormone like IBA, then there are other two hormones. Now these three experimental material, they are treated with IBA only. They have same genotypic constitution, means they are genetically similar. They are genetically similar, they are given same treatment of the hormone. Despite that, we can see the difference in the growth. Now in ideal condition, where there is no such condition, but in ideal condition, if the experimental material is genetically similar and same concentration of IBA hormone is applied to all these three material, then they must show the same amount of growth. Okay, but that does not happen. Why? Because there are exogenous factors that are affecting the experimental material, which we don't take into consideration in the study. So it can be like CO2 or light, or there are many such micro environment factors. So these exogenous factors, these constitute the error, because the difference between the experimental material that is homogeneous and treated by the same treatment will lead us to the estimation of the error. So now you can definitely you have the answer that why there is difference in the growth, because there are exogenous factors that are contributing, and these exogenous factors we don't take into account in the study, so their effects we call them error, and these constitute the error, exogenous factors, and we can estimate the error by this replication. Okay, so this is the I had written the same thing which I had explained. In one line we can say that the variation within a replication of the same type of treatments form an error, and thus we can say that the replication allows us to estimate an error. The second function is the reduction in the experimental error. So we have this relationship that experimental error is inversely proportional to the square root of the replication. So what will happen, as the replication, we increase the replication, the denominator will increase. Okay, and as they are having the inverse relationship, the experimental error will decrease. So the more the number of replication, the less is the experimental error. What should be the ideal number of replication? So this is the question many researcher faces. So there is no one line answer to this, like we can't say that 3 replication, 2 replication, 1 replication. It depends on many things. So the first one is the resources available. So what amount of resources you are having? Suppose you have like no constraint of land, then labor, then material, experimental material, then we can go for the higher number of replication. And precision required, so if you are requiring higher precision, then you need to go for higher number of replication. Okay, then experimental material, if the experimental material is less, definitely you will be having the less number of replication. Then degrees of freedom. So replication should be such that the error degree of freedom must be greater than 12. So why we are saying this thing? Why 12 only? Because in the ANOVA results are based on the F test, and F distribution, if we look at the F table value for all the degrees of freedom that is less than 12, you can see that the variation is high. We can say that the F test is sensitive when the degrees of freedom are less than 12. Okay, so that's why we have kept the threshold of the 12. In some books there is like instead of 12 they used to say that the degree of freedom must be greater than 10 instead of 12. Okay, so let's see one case. Like I'm writing at the bottom due to lack of space. Suppose you have three treatments, uh, treatments equal to 3. The design is RBD, and the question asked is that what is the number of replication, that is minimum number of replication, what is this? So we know that the error degree of freedom must be greater than 12. So the error degree of freedom formula for RBD design is R minus 1 into T minus 1. This must be greater than 12. So if we place 3 here, then 3 minus 1, we get 2. We divide this, so we can see R minus 1 must be greater than 6, and we can ultimately say R must be greater than equal to 7. So the minimum number of replication must be 7 in this case. Now this criteria changes from design to design because the error degree of freedom formula for different designs are different. In case of RBD it is like this. In case of CRD or other design, you need to take that error degree of freedom formula. So I hope that it is clear that what should be the ideal number of replication. Generally we prefer that the number of replication must be kept to 3. In plant breeding, when we have land as a constraint and the experimental material is also less, we go for designs like augmented design, and in that case the number of replication in that design is only 1. So it also depends on the design and the resources available, precision required, experimental material, degree of freedom. So we can't just say that there is one criteria. It's a group of criteria which we take into consideration while planning an experiment in order to decide the number of replication. So this was all about the replication. In the second part of the video we will be covering about the randomization. Okay, so thanks for watching this video, and if you like this content, then please do like and share this content, and this will motivate me to bring more content. If you like my work, please do subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon to get the latest notifications.